Like so. You see?
I see it now.
Okay, good. All right. So it's February 1st. It's 2022. Why are we always surprised when the calendar changes? Like, doesn't it seem weird that it's February 1st?
Mm-hmm.
It seems weird that it's 2022.
It seems weird that it's 2022. So think about this. I was thinking, like, if you would have asked me 20 years ago, like, where are you going to be February 1st, 2022? So think of it this way. Where are we all going to be, let's say, March 15th, 2049?
Hopefully not getting stabbed in the back by somebody.
What does that mean?
March
What?
15th?
Oh, the Ides of March. Oh, okay. That wasn't the significance of it. It was no. That's
No,
not
I was
what
like,
I was talking
ooh.
about.
That's a little heavy for 9:30 on a Tuesday.
At 2?
Where are our manners? Let's say good morning to FinTech Nation. Hi, everyone. Of course, we hope you're doing well. Don't forget, when we start out at first for a few minutes, we're waiting for people to come on. So it's just basically fluff. Don't give up on us. We are going to get into some serious content, to some stuff that's going to change your life for the better, hopefully. So for now, we're just BSing as we're getting started. How's my staff today?
Excellent.
Very
Wonderful.
Why? Why are you so good?
I just feel good. I'm
Okay.
happy. February's here, which in my mind is already spring.
Yeah, it's spring. Listen, spring training is supposed to be starting soon, but I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. Corinne, what's going on with you? Why are you feeling so good today?
Because the sun is shining. I just feel like it's a good day to start and be happy and move forward.
Excellent. Does anyone else want to share how they're No, I don't really care, actually. I'm just ready to get started. Why don't we get started in earnest? Welcome. I see people are starting to come on here. They're hoping to hear something that's going to be life-changing, at the very least entertaining, not this nonsense. So let's get into it. Let's start out. Well, first of all, I have two words I want to start out with today. And here are my two words. Smoked paprika.
Oh, I love
Ooh.
paprika.
Smoked paprika. So let's give the crock pot update. I have been using my crock pot on a daily, if not an hourly basis. I find that smoked paprika makes everything better. Ladies, yell out your favorite spices at random.
Ooh, this is good. So honestly, I love garlic pepper.
Garlic pepper.
Oh.
Okay. Who else?
Good.
I
What
love
else?
French onion.
French onion. Jen, favorite spice?
Cumin.
Ooh, cumin.
Cumin. Thea,
I like the pink salt.
pink salt. Trisha.
Rosemary.
Ooh.
Okay. Thea wins this round because she said something that is commercially helpful to us. So thank you for that, Thea. Yes, we know where to get the best pink salt. Elizabeth saying hi. She likes garlic. Elizabeth, that explains a lot.
That's why we're here.
That's why we run away when you come into the office. But there are no evil spirits around you ever. So that's a very, very good thing. Question about the crock pot. So I wanted to give, like I said, kind of a crock pot update. I don't understand it as well as I'd like to, even though I feel like I've mastered it in some ways because everything I make just turns out delicious. But it's not me. There's an alchemy that goes on somehow. So here's a question. How do you know when it's done when you cook in the crock pot? FinTech Nation, you're welcome to comment on this.
It shuts off.
It just shuts off. Exactly. I just check and make sure nothing's pink.
Mhm.
You're supposed to wait till it shuts off?
Well, I mean, not even like
The timer goes off.
Yeah, I don't even really use the time on a recipe anymore. I just kind of like, wing it. I go up a little bit. I'm like, if I started at 12 o'clock, I'm like, oh, we got to eat by 4. We're putting this on high today.
Right.
You know?
But the longer it goes, like the more it loses its definition and everything just melts into one thing and it becomes like a gelatinous goop.
Well, I feel
That's what a crock pot's supposed to do.
Make a gelatinous goop.
No, actually. No.
That's why it's called potted meat.
Nobody called it potted meat. You made that up.
Yeah.
Nobody says potted meat. I've never heard the term potted meat ever.
Oh my God.
What planet do you live on?
Oh
I
my-
never heard it either.
I'm googling potted meat.
I mean, it is literally
pot
potted
roast?
meat. We can't deny that. It's made in a pot. It's meat
Exactly,
that's made in a
pot
pot.
roast.
My
Pot
sense is
roast?
no.
You don't want to roast in a crock pot.
It's
Oh
a
my God,
very
that's
evolved thing. They started out just burning the meat, and then after a while, some lady figured out, hey, let's just go to bed. We'll put a fire under a pot, and we'll let everything cook together. There you go. Stu Yuck. Elizabeth, I think I went to high school with him. Yes, it's potted meat, she
Nicole
says.
said it's potted meat. Oh my god.
Okay, so we still have no consensus as far as when it's done in the crock pot. But for people,
When it's
Huh?
when you'll know it when you know it.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you'll know when you know it. Let me ask another question. Do you start out seasoning it right away, or do you wait
Yes.
until it's for you start out right away? You let it all cook together because I find it needs more seasoning.
You're not supposed
Well,
to it when it's cooking. You're supposed to start it and
when the meat is soft.
All right, don't leave anybody. We're going to get into our content. I am just trying to spread the
Yes,
gospel.
it's potted
of the
meat.
crock pot.
See, Elizabeth agrees with me.
Don't
Ha!
interrupt me. If you don't have a crock pot, please get one because last night I was going to sleep. It was like 12:30. And then it occurred to me, oh shit, I haven't made anything. So I got up. It took me 3 minutes. I just dumped a few things into the crock pot and now it's ready.
Wait, can I just answer this though, so we don't
Yes.
downplay how important a crock pot is? They do sell if you are not good in the kitchen at all. They sell bags. Oh, we lost Jen. They sell these bags where I wish they had better names, but they call it like dump meals.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to Whole Foods, you can go to Wegmans, and they have, or anywhere, ShopRite, I'm sure has them too. But they have, it looks like a Ziploc bag.
Yep.
Where everything is already in it, and you literally just put it in your crock pot. You don't. Some of them you don't even open. You
Yeah,
just
it feels like cheating to me, Jack.
no. Okay. Well, I'm trying to help everybody.
Yeah,
But-
no, it's not helpful.
But regardless of that, they make these like thing. I saw this thing and I sent it to you. I think Dr. R, and I'll send it to you, Trisha, because I know you use it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's a woman, a food blogger, where she pretty much only cooks by her crock pot. But everything she does is raw. So she'll prepare food and freeze meals raw and cooks them separate where they actually don't come together. So like for me, I'm a lazy crock potter. Like I put everything in there that should be mixed. So it tends to be soups, pulled chicken, vegetables. I really don't do anything that has to be cooked halfway in between. In there, I do something that I put it in there, set it, and take it out when it's done. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Really?
Well, listen, I started this subject. I think it's an important and useful topic, but now I've grown bored of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on.
God.
And we're going to do our testimonial of the day because I know Jen has a great testimonial. Now, she was very cryptic about it earlier. I don't know what's weird about this testimonial, but I'm looking forward to hearing it. So go ahead.
So it may spark some conversation and it may
Oh.
need some explanations
Okay.
because what Sherry's success story touches upon is something that we are seeing in the weight room as a result of certain things that have been happening in our world lately. So we can discuss
This
it
is a-
afterwards.
Look at Jen teasing it. What a good lead up.
What is it?
Yeah.
So you do realize I have like a minor in film studies and communications. Right?
And I think 6 others as well. Yeah.
So anyway, so we can talk about this. It's pretty cool and it's interesting and it's like a little perplexing for coaches. But Sherry said, this is my second time going through the program. My progress was not as impressive as the first time, but I still lost weight. During the time of COVID vaccinations, booster, and a breakthrough case, I was still able to maintain or lose. The program has provided me with discipline. The ability to take control of my food and food choices is priceless. Thank you, ThinTech, for giving me my control back.
Okay. Interesting, Jen. So what to you is interesting about that?
So, a couple things in the middle paragraph, her vaccinations and her booster and her breakthrough case, because despite being boosted and vaxxed, she still had a breakthrough case, which slowed down her weight loss a little for a couple of reasons. So, when you do something like that to your body, you're creating an inflammatory response, which is sort of how things are supposed to work, right?
Sure.
But when there's inflammation in the body, it creates a state of non-homeostasis. Homeostasis meaning I'm losing it. The where your body is doing what it's supposed to do. So maintenance, like homeo meaning same and stasis meaning stable. So your
Right.
body is supposed to be stable so it's able to do things like maintain a healthy weight. That's a function of health. Weight is a function of health. When we introduce a substance, no matter what it is, that creates inflammation, you're no longer able to maintain homeostasis, which is the body's ability to be equal, to keep equilibrium and function for health purposes. So, I just thought it was interesting that she mentioned that because we're seeing that in the weight room a lot.
It is very interesting,
Yeah.
right? And it's, I think we have enough data on it now to understand that when people do get the vaccine, it does slow down weight loss.
Correct. Yeah. And
Right.
we're seeing it, it's anecdotal for us, but it's almost across the board. Like the mitigating factor or the red flag for us was they're not losing weight. Why? Why are they not losing weight? What's going on? And Thea and I started asking, you started asking, when was your last shot? And it was like, oh, there it is. Shot, weight stall, shot, weight stall.
Right.
Wow.
So, yeah, just really
Yeah.
interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. And nonetheless, she was still able to do very, very well
She
in
was.
spite of that. And that's the win.
Correct.
That's the victory.
That's the big win.
And
So,
she's thrilled. She comes into the office and lightens
Yeah.
everything up. I interviewed her on Facebook. She's terrific.
she's delightful. We met Jackie. Maybe if we have that link, we can post the link down below also.
Oh yeah, sure,
Sorry,
absolutely.
Sherry's. I have 2 more success stories, but we could always do them another week. They're from sisters. So,
Oh, okay. Well, do you have to read them both together or can you just read one of them?
I can read one of them.
Save the other one. Okay.
Oh,
Sure.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's hear it. We'll do a double today, huh? A double shot of inspiration.
This is from Kelly, who has had some interesting things in her life. So when I started my journey, I was feeling very bad about my body and myself. I had no energy and I felt depressed and unable to see past my current health and lack of motivation. When I started the NutriBros program with FinTech with my sister, we both vowed to support, motivate, and hold each other accountable to become healthier, to become a healthier and happier version of ourselves. This
And more
program
hopeful.
and more helpful, made our efforts easier, and the strict structure is what I needed. We began by meal prepping and planning our weekly menu so it would be easier to follow and balanced out the cooking load, keeping it creative. As I progressed by week 2, I began having more energy and feeling good about myself again. Each week I look forward to weigh-ins as my continued success each week keeps me positive. I could not have done it without this program.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Those two are great. They're so
Yeah.
fun. They come in and
are.
they take out their little piece of paper to show me like the menu. They sit down, they have a meeting about it. I mean, they act like they're CFOs and they're meeting about it every week and they're planning it out. And there's support from each other
Right.
Yeah.
as well as the support,
Amazing.
obviously, from us has
Yeah.
really led to some great success. And they're thrilled.
That's what she actually said when we scheduled them to come back when they were doing it together. They cook together. They meet. They literally do it over once a week.
Yeah.
They eat the exact same thing. So they pretty much support their a support system built within.
That's right.
You know what's so important about what they do?
Hmm.
Menu planning,
Yes,
food prep,
that's
menu
right.
planning. Yeah.
The intro, Jen.
Which is unnecessary if
Hey.
you have a crock pot. You don't have to plan anything. But,
Oh,
that is a segue. I don't want to get in the way of it. Jackie, do you have a delicious recipe for us today?
I do, but I feel like you're removing the value from me. Like I
Menu planning.
You think I instead of playing you up, I downplayed it.
yeah, I'm so Jen.
Okay.
Menu
Ladies and
planning.
gentlemen, we have a fantastic recipe from an amazing chef, a terrific mother, someone who just basically is good at everything she does, with the possible exception of geography. It's our one and only Jackie with a terrific and delicious recipe. Jackie, you have 30 seconds.
I can't do that. I can't. That I'm not good at. I'm also not good at time. So, really good recipe, and I actually have. It's in favor of Thea too. Also, I'm vegan, so it's good. It's called artichoke. I'm looking at it from both screens, so forgive me for not looking. It's artichoke salad. Artichokes, red onion, celery chives, avocado mayo, paprika, garlic powder, black pepper, pink salt, lemon juice, and dulse flakes.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
what was the last thing?
Dulse flakes.
Dulse.
Oh, okay. So that's like a seaweed.
Yeah, so it's like crunchy seaweed. That's
Got it.
optional. You don't have to do it. But I thought to myself, you could probably even add into this chicken or tuna
Mhm.
and create this as it was like a full
Mhm.
meal instead of just a side.
Mhm.
If you were doing it vegan, of course, you can alternate and use the cashew mayo.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Oh, wait. The avocado mayo is not vegan?
some of them are not.
You have to read the label.
You read the
Interesting.
label. So the
Okay.
I use Primal Kitchen, and to be honest with you, I think it is vegan. I don't know 100%. We're not a vegan household.
It's
so
delicious.
oh my! Avocado mayo. I don't know how I lived without it before our program. Corinne's gay.
Avocado mayo mixed with Primal Kitchen ketchup on a
Oh,
hamburger.
With potted
Oh.
meat.
It's like yeah, I get it. It's
Oh,
like
with a hamburger.
it's a healthy Russian dressing, basically.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
so
pretty
good.
much.
Okay.
Not vegan.
It's not.
Jackie, are you going to be
Not
posting
vegan.
this recipe?
I am actually. It's already set to go out 1:00 today. It'll be posted on all pages, but I'm going to put it in the comments here.
Awesome.
So even though
Another delicious recipe. Are we going to compile these one day and make a recipe book?
Yeah, hello. In the works.
Meal prep.
Wait, that's happening?
the
Nobody
works.
tells me.
Jen, milk is in it.
It's cage-free eggs.
it's eggs,
Oh.
yeah.
It's
But
a very clean product. It is keto and whole food approved. No soy, no canola, sugar-free, paleo approved, but it does have cage-free eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's close to being vegan, and it can be made vegan if you need
They-
to.
Primal Kitchen does make a cashew one that I believe.
Yeah. It's also clean.
Yeah, it's also clean.
Okay,
But
and obviously this is for phase 4
yes, of course.
or beyond. Phase 4 or beyond.
But Dr. R, this can be done without mayo entirely.
Doesn't sound as good.
Lemon, no, if you
Agreed.
do lemon juice, balsamic vinegar, as long as there's no sugar, or not even that, I would swap that out and you can do coconut aminos or liquid aminos.
Well, coconut aminos make everything better as far as I'm
Mhm.
concerned. Yeah,
Mhm.
If you
it's like teriyaki.
exactly, if you omit that and swap, and I would just do the lemon juice, a little splash of the coconut aminos, this would be phenomenal on program.
Okay, we got to get that book going here because these are some great recipes, Jack. You've worked hard on these things.
Yep.
I know
Thank you.
So
you're
many people
experimental
want it.
all
So
hours.
a lot of
Yeah.
people ask for it.
They're like, "We'll buy it. We'll pay for it. Just get us a recipe."
Come on, Jackie, let's go.
I'll add it to my to-do list.
It can be easily done. All you have to do is print out the recipes
Yeah.
and put them in one of those. It's a self-spiral
I'll
binder.
tell you what. You know the move. This is what we do. We give it to Corinne's daughter. Right? We give it to Brianna. Brianna's the older one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we give it to Brianna and make it a project. And we'll pay her something.
There you go.
Right?
We're gonna do it.
And she might have 10 temper tantrums as she looks at the thought of me having to cook any of this
As
food.
long as you're the one dealing with the temper tantrum, I'm okay with that.
You should have seen her temper tantrum over potted meat last week.
I don't think that was probably your temper tantrum, and I don't think she wants you talking about her temper tantrum.
Potted meat is
Front
a
of the
thing,
whole
by
world.
the way.
All right, let's move
Real.
on here. We have an actual topic. I mean, there was a lot of yapping, but last week we posed the question. Basically, kids are sunshiny for the most part, right? You take a little kid, they're 5-year-old, they're like a kitten. They'll play with the box. They don't care. They occupy themselves. They generally have sunny dispositions. They're hopeful. They have confidence. The word can't doesn't exist. We talked about how we start out life. We all start out life winning a race against a million other sperm, a race to the death. Then when we start to walk, we fall a billion times. But as children, it doesn't affect us the same way as adults. Then as we grow older, the average middle-aged person is much more negative, much less sunshiny, much less willing to try things. They're jaded. They've failed before. They've had many, many losses, as Jen told us last week. And Jen pointed out something. So one of the causes of this kind of descent is multiple failures, right? The failures of a lifetime accumulate, does the pain over a lifetime. Also, we get stuff from other people. We're told negative things. We're told what we can do, what we can't do. We're maybe criticized, insulted, and that adds up. But there's an X factor. And the X factor is whether or not we internalize it. So,
Right.
Jen, let me start out asking you this. Why do we tend to internalize the BS coming from the outside world?
Well, enough of it. It's like a snowball. So you put a snowball at the top of the hill and it starts to roll down the hill. It accumulates more and more until it's this giant snowball. But, you know, that also gives the impression that we are not responsible for what's happening to us. And I think the biggest thing is to be able to understand that the responsibility and accountability is in our ability to say no and to disagree with what people are throwing at us. So, you know, we know who we are. Like, you know, when you have those moments and you're like, wow, like, look at all the accomplishments I've had. Look at all the great things I've done. Those are the things we should be focusing on. And when we go into an agreement to accept other people's evaluation of us and their interpretation of who we are, when we really know who we are better than anybody else, that agreement crashes in on us. That's what causes the downward spiral into, you know, being less than who we are. It's our agreement. So the ability to be responsible and accountable for our own feelings and our own emotions is a disagreement with what other people think about us.
Got it. Okay, so Thea, as a coach, you see people sometimes going into agreement with the fact that they can't do something. You see negativity on occasion, disappointment. What is your own personal strategy to kind of keep that away from you?
Well, I would just wanted to touch on what Jen said too. It's like I think that it starts from our parents. So, you know, they're human and sometimes they could be frustrated and say things that they don't mean to the kids. And it just, that's where it starts. So I think as an adult, and then it just accumulates like a snowball, like Jen says, with other people. I think the key is, in just my opinion, I think the key is forgiveness and just knowing that other people are human too. Your parents were human too. And forgiveness is key. Forgiving yourself too, and forgiving the people around you that are, you know, allowing these thoughts to come into your head.
Is forgiveness kind of a one-time event, or is it a practice?
Practice.
You ask.
Kind of what'd you say, Jack?
Depends on who you ask.
Depends on who you ask. Okay, so does forgiveness play a role in your life, Jackie,
All the time.
in the way that Thea's talking about?
Oh yeah.
All right, give us an example.
Well, I think myself, as just in general how I handle things, I would much rather, and this is in any situation in life, I feel like that I've experienced, I tend to take it in myself because I'd rather someone else not have to suffer or feel guilt or feel bad or take ownership. I always tend to take it on my shoulders. So I think forgiveness, I tend to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
We can move past it and I can help them. I always tend to dig even deeper myself to try to fix the problem, even if it has nothing to do with me. Even if
Right.
I don't want to see anybody else have to suffer or in pain. So I rather suck it up. And in Corinne's terms, suck it up, buttercup. Like, I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It's all right. Let's go. Let's get past this. And I tend to overly forgive. And if
So what you're describing is a kind of a martyr syndrome.
yeah, unintentionally, I don't think it's healthy.
Yes.
I don't think it's for everybody, but I
But
think
it might be common with moms. Trish, is that something that you find yourself doing as well?
Yeah, I feel like I forgive, but sometimes I can't let it go, the forgetting part.
Mhm.
So I'll forgive for the moment just to make it smooth and even and let's move on. But it's always kind of back there.
Well, when Thea
circling.
mentioned forgiving, I think she's talking first and foremost about forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Just being kind to yourself as opposed to internalizing all the outside world and making it, you know, about you as opposed to it's about some circumstance or someone else's opinion. You know, someone once said, other people's opinions of me are none of my business.
Right.
right? So do you find that you kind of take things to heart? You want to take the pain of maybe your children or your husband or the world in general, and you're unforgiving of yourself.
Yeah, I think so. I try to, but it's very hard. It's at 40 years old, it's kind of still
Why
hard
is
to
it hard?
forgive. I don't know. I guess it's from the way you grew up. I don't really know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you guys are right, because I've been taught to forgive and forget. Like I'm the worst, and we all know it. Like I'll be quick to react and say something
I don't think
really
you're the
mean.
worst.
No, but from this perspective, it could be a positive aspect for me, but it could also backfire. I'm one to say how I feel, and then I forget, and then I'm done. That's it. I could be over. I could be angry, and I'll talk to you, and I'll forget it, unless it's something very bad. But for the most part, I don't care. You know, I actually read an interesting article yesterday that said when you start having all these negative things in your mind, let them enter your mind for 5 seconds, close your eyes, and imagine something positive to stop the negative energy from coming into your mind.
Well, I kind of want to push back on that a little bit.
See, that's tough. That's
It's very tough.
That's nutty.
But the reason is you're counteracting one thing, right? So you have this negative thought, and then you're trying to counteract it with something positive. Now you've created conflict.
Yep.
So you're not letting the
Conflict.
negative energy enter your mind.
I can't see.
Maybe in practice, that's what happens.
Eating dirt, love bugs. Well,
So yeah, if you're going to yell at your dog, please mute yourself.
Sorry, I thought I had you on mute.
And don't yell at your dog, by the way,
Dirt.
because your dog is going to internalize it also. Like, he has the same strategy that the rest of us have. Jackie, what were you saying?
well, it's the same thing like what Thea is saying, like, you know, obviously it stems around parents. I mean, I think it's just our environment in general would be parents, family experiences, our friends. Like, there are certain scenarios where I go back to it, I'm like, oh, that was a terrible decision. I should have never done this, or I was in something happened and something triggers you, right? So here I am 20 years later, and all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know what it is, but something just made that come back for a second. And I'm like, stop, back up. I don't want to. And I feel like I have the sense of control to stop it. But so when I let things in because I'm trying to fix somebody else, you know, I like to say it's just because I'm trying to out of the goodness of your heart, which I hate that saying because I just feel like that's very cliche, but I don't want to inflict that on anybody. And I don't want to get fixated on, oh, you have to right the wrongs of your past or, you know, what you've learned and experienced. But putting that wall up, it's like a survival of the fittest kind of thing, right, Jen? I mean, I feel like you have to put that wall up to succeed sometimes. And
my wall goes up to 10 feet high at times.
Right. But you know what? I think it should be done depending on the scenario. Like, I mean, I don't go from 0 to 60.
I do.
It takes a long time. So for me, I take it in. I'll forget it. I'll move past it now. Take it in again. Move past it for now. 3, 4, 5 times later. If something is like really bad and then I just like, I explode. And I don't explode. I explode with all of my facts in order.
Let me just say, for those of you who have just joined us and it's kind of mid-conversation for you, what we're talking about is the tendency of people to internalize the outside world and mostly do so in a negative way. Because there's nobody who's ever been born into this world who has not faced controversy, who has not faced criticism of some kind, who has not had failures and losses. And the difference between the winners and the losers, if I could put it that way, is the ability to not internalize it, because that's the secret sauce if you want to go downhill. If you're able to put a force field around yourself and never internalize those losses, those criticisms, that pain, then you would have nothing to worry about. Jackie, you had a thought, and then I want to get to Jen.
Yeah, just to finish on that part. I mean, my thing is also for those who put that wall up and do not let those life experiences affect them in any way, I also don't think that's healthy. I think those also have to be, you know, learning experiences. You have to take it, all of that into play. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it does, but there's a distinction that we have to make, because although you need to be able to learn the lessons, that's on a kind of an analytical basis. You don't want to let it take you down, which is more on a reactive basis.
Yep.
So, Jennifer, you have some thoughts as someone who never takes anything to heart.
Uh,
I'm joking.
yes,
Of course, we all do
thank
it.
you. So I'm listening to what everybody said, and I am thinking that between all six of us, we have a whole component of what causes the problem and how to fix the problem and steps to take. So, I like visuals. I always like a visual. And I actually used this the other day with my mom. I had a really good drawing, but I don't have the drawing. So make believe this is the person, right? And then we've got all
It's
this.
a phone.
It's a phone, but it's a person. It's
Okay.
imagination. So,
Okay.
Thea had said it goes back to parenting. To a certain extent, yeah, it does.
You don't have
but
like a Barbie doll or something? I'm having a little trouble. Okay.
I'm
Tristan, don't spit out
reacting.
your
You're
coffee.
triggering me. You're invalidating me. I can't go on anymore.
But as long as you don't take it to heart, you're good.
I've taken it to heart and I put my walls up.
Don't forget, you're a sperm. You're a sperm. You're a winner.
She's trying to make you blow up, Jen.
Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
So this is us, right? And then this is that. Who is it that said the nonsense? Jackie might have said, this is the nonsense that goes on in our mind that has nothing to do with us. It's everything that's happened all along the way, and it gets more and more tangled, right? And sometimes it crosses over into us, and we get mad and we blow up, and then it goes away, and then this goes away. And we accumulate more, like you said, but sometimes the nonsense covers the whole person. And that's when like somebody can't filter through it anymore. So yeah, Corinne, you're right. You can put up the walls, and it's sort of like a more of a deflective thing, but we have to be careful to not put up the walls so much that we can't let the good stuff in either. And I think that Jackie touched upon, some of it. Yes, it's cliche, but the cliches exist for a reason. Like, nobody's opinion of you matters outside of yourself. What was it that you said before? I can't remember your cliche, but it was spot on.
Out of your out of the goodness of your heart that you should.
Yeah. So that actually is a very good one, because what we have to look at, we're all dealing with nonsense, right? We all carry our own thing that might re-stimulate us, that might trigger us. The key is to look at the person that you're interacting with and understand that when they are doing whatever they're doing, it's not them, it's this. So what you spoke about earlier.
Jen said it's this. She held up wires.
The wires.
You're in your car.
It's the jumble. It's the jumble. It's your thought. It's the nonsense. It's everything in the world that's not you as a very strong. And whenever I say this, I hear the Friends episode where Chandler's listening to, you're a strong, powerful woman. Just stop smoking. He starts becoming like a woman.
Yes.
So basically the thing is to honor and understand that this is you, and that this is the person that you're speaking with, another person. Heart to heart, the true nature of who we are as never-ending spiritual beings.
And we are going to kind of stop on that note. Let me make a couple of points, because I think that's a good segue.
Yeah.
So to kind of what Jackie and Corinne were touching on, and I understand it now. When you were saying it, I didn't understand it.
Yeah,
we can't put up such a wall that we withdraw from other people, from society, just in order to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's a common strategy. On the other hand, we can't let everything in so much that it eats us away.
Balance.
And so here's kind of the balance. And that takes us to our Miyagi consciousness that we were discussing last week. Because nobody did it better than Mr. Miyagi. I think we can all agree on that.
Wax
on and wax off. But when we were talking about forgiveness, so that would be one strategy. Forgive yourself, right? You say something negative to yourself. Oh, I'm the worst. I can't. I'm horrible. People do this regarding their weight and regarding their diets, right? I'm undisciplined. I'm out of control.
Why do I
I'm
always
the worst, right?
set myself up for failure?
Yes.
Right.
So, if you're going to do that, yes, forgiveness is one strategy. But Jen hit on something that I think that's even more profound, which is that the essential problem at its core is that we've forgotten. We've forgotten who we are.
Yeah.
And who we are, at least in Jen's view, is we are eternal spiritual beings. And I think that's a good place. This has become a little more profound than we intended at first, but that's a good place to stop. We'll get into that next week. Remember, you guys laugh, but my job sometimes with clients is to remind them who they are. And I used a very colorful example that we are sperm. We are winners. We started out life as winners. We've forgotten that, but if we can just remember that we are winners, that can't is just something that we've taken on from the universe and other people, then we will be that much further along the road to happiness and health and all those things that we want.
Right.
All right. So that's going to be it for today. Final thoughts. I'll give everyone a chance to have a final thought. Go.
So
Believe in yourself and know that you can do it.
Okay.
Whatever life throws your way.
Useful. Jen.
I was going to put a disclaimer in and say that, those were not my thoughts. They're the thoughts of millennia of people, that we are eternal spiritual beings, but I just believe it.
Fair enough. Yes, I'm not going to argue with you. Just for some people, it may or may not be real. But let's discuss that last week. Let's get into a little bit of the things that we're not supposed to talk about, right? Religion, spirituality. I think that it always comes into play, whether or not we're aware of it. So that's what we're going to be starting on next week, after we have a great testimonial and a delicious recipe. So please, I hope everyone will join us. I hope everyone appreciates this content. You can't just get this anywhere. Normally, you're getting content from sane and rational people, but you have the option to get content from us. So please like, share, pass it on, join us, listen in your car, listen while you're cleaning, while you are obsessively changing your bed sheets, Jackie. Just engage. That's what we're supposed to do in life, engage. So that's going to be it for today. We'll speak to you all next week.
Have a great
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.